this is Uncle Jim. I just got off the phone with Pat, who is West Covina Dodge on YouTube, and we were talking about different things, and one of them was the deals from PSA. They're giving away their slides and their frames on their Dagger pistols, which are an awesome deal, especially during Labor Day. And he asked me if I ever tried a Dagger slide on a Glock and a Glock slide on a Dagger. And I told him no, I haven't even put them on each other. Never tried it. And there's other videos out there. And so I told him, he told me, well, that'd make a good video. Why don't you do that? And I said, well, I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there, and I got other videos I need to do that are stacking up, and started whining and complaining. And then I realized whatever Pat wants, Pat gets. All right? So, today's video's for Pat. And we stopped all production, and we're just going to go on to this. So here you go, Pat. This is an all-stock Dagger with a Holosun on it. Nothing's been done to it. This is pretty much an all-stock Glock 19. The only things that have been done to it is a extended slide release and a mag release, which I need to bevel a little bit. It's a little sharp. Other than that, it's all stock. So it's pretty good comparison here. And we'll do the old switcheroo, and we'll shoot them like this. So Glock 19 frame on a Dagger slide, Glock 19 slide on a Dagger frame, and we'll see what happens. Now, there is a difference here. If you look right here, you can see the difference. Okay, there's some slight differences. I heard that the Dagger has a different firing pin. I can't confirm. Everything else is pretty much the same. So let's see how they fit on each other. I'll use, the Dagger comes with the Magpul, which work very good, magazine. So I'll use the same magazine for both, so there's no discrepancies there. And then we're gonna use some really old hollow points. All right, let's see how the slides go on each other. So here's a Glock 19 frame, Dagger slide, and let's see how that slips on. Yeah, no problem. Seems to be fit pretty good too. All right, let's see if it locks back with an empty mag. And it does. Okay. Let's try the Glock 19 slide on the Dagger frame and see how that goes. Well, I can tell this is a little bit, okay. Okay, we're on YouTube. Okay, I got to push down on the back of this. Let's check the guide rod real quick, okay? It's a wee bit not as slick. Okay. That was a little fumbling. That could have been user error. The Dagger slide, the barrel doesn't stick out, and it's got a crown on it. So there's the difference there. But it fits. And so all stock, pretty much stock, nothing internal changed on the 19 lower. Mag release and a mag release and slide release is the only difference. Other than that, everything's stock, so it'll be a good comparison. And we'll see what happens. Now, on the Glock 19 frame, I do not like it. Most of my Glocks, I take the finger grooves off, undercut here, and stipple and thin a little bit in this area. This is the only one I haven't touched. And with the price of Daggers now, it's like, why? I can buy 2 of those, sell this one off, and buy 2 Daggers. The way they're giving them away. But that's nonetheless, whatever. All right, so to bump it up a notch, we're going to shoot a jacketed hollow point. some really old Fiocchi ammo, 115 grain jacketed hollow point. This could be from the late 80s, and it's pretty corroded, and we'll shoot 10 rounds of each using the same mag. So here is how old this ammo looks. The lead is all aged, let's say, but I want the brass. Okay, I'm just going to shoot at the dirt with the brass catcher, collect the brass, and collect the bullets. I've been meaning to go out to the targets and collect my Easter eggs out there, so I'm going to shoot these in the dirt, and we'll see if it's reliable, 10 shots each, and see what happens. So here you go, Pat. Okay, one thing I didn't mention is the Dagger has a beveled slide. Let's do a close-up at the nose here in 2 spots, and so the Glock frame isn't going to line up with that, and it'll stick out just a little bit. And of course you got the shorter barrel, but it doesn't matter on this as long as you keep the slide and barrel together. And then the Dagger frame on the Glock slide sticks out more than the frame because that was beveled for their slide. So there's your difference. All right, let's go shoot it in the dirt and see what happens. Okay, let's start off first with the Dagger slide on the Glock 19 frame. See what happens. Okay, it racked. Oops, didn't want to hit that. And it locked back and it worked beautifully. All right, let's try the Glock slide on the Dagger frame. Okay, now for the Glock 19 slide on the Dagger frame. We'll see if that's reliable. Are we rolling? Yes. Okay, racked. Okay, it worked perfectly, but I had a few eject like upward instead of sideways. Strange. Different ejector. Interesting. So now I have to sort through the gravel to find my brass. Okay, looks like we caught a bee in the net. All right, so we caught all our brass in the brass catcher sideways using the Dagger slide on the Glock frame, the way it should be. But when I went to the Glock slide on the Dagger frame, ejection started going all over the place. And this ammo, it didn't say plus P hollow point, but it's warm. But that's old Fiocchi for you, you know, the old days. Stuff was hot. Okay, so thanks, Pat, for that, because I found out something interesting I would have never known. And so that was the ejectors that are on the frame. And they are slightly different. So the Glock 19 is a Gen 3, my favorites. And you'll notice the ejector is straight across on the frame. And then the PSA looks like it's just ever so slightly upward, just very subtle. Also, you know, you have angles here, how the tip is. So that was interesting because when I shot, what did I do now? The second one, when I shot the Glock slide on the dagger frame, ejection all of a sudden went everywhere instead of sideways. However, when I shoot the dagger by itself, usually I shoot both of these suppressed with a different barrel anyway, the ejection, I don't recall it doing that. It always went into the brass catcher. So it's just being compatible with each other. So that's something to think about, I guess. And so, yeah, that's kind of interesting. The ejector on the frames are fitted to each other, and they're fine with each other, but when you go switching them, it went really erratic with the Glock slide on the dagger frame. Interesting. Thank you, Pat. I love this. I'm a curious monkey. Another thing I noticed with the Glock slide, all the primer hits were perfectly centered. And that's because the barrel matches everything else. On the dagger, they were ever so slightly off center, but nothing to... I'm being overly picky. It's almost damn centered, but it was slightly off center, and that's just how the barrel is fit to the breech face and the firing pin. Nothing to write home about, and I'm being very picky. I mean, that's just ever so slightly off centered. And I don't recall that when they're together, but it doesn't matter. It's what's on the slide fitted together. Now, both of these I usually shoot with the aftermarket threaded barrel, and it works awesome suppressed, and I think all the primer hits are always centered, and when they're together, the ejection is fine. But when I mix these up today, it got a little funky. All right, what else? Oh, another thing about the stock Dagger barrels, and usually I use a threaded barrel, is this barrel is a little ogive picky. I've noticed that from reloads and stuff, so it's a little more ogive picky. All right, a little bit shorter chamber than the Glock, obviously, and my threaded barrel is very forgiving, and they all shoot good. It's just something to look out for. So the barrel on the dagger is a little bit shorter. I don't know, maybe we'll do a different thing later, see if this barrel fits in the slide without being too short. I think it will. And that's about it. Dagger has a steel guide rod. Take it or leave it, I don't care. These, I've never had issues with it. Plastic guide rods. But that was interesting about the ejectors. They are matched to their own uppers. So everything beautiful when they're together like they should be. But when you mix them up, this one started throwing them front, back. You can see in the video when I'm using the dagger lower on the Glock slide. Interesting. But they both worked, and that was fun. All right, I guess that's it. And this is for you, Pat. You're a whiskey lover. You probably don't like this, but we're going camping. It's got an American flag. I think I'm going to make me an iced tea in your honor. All right, Pat, we all love you, buddy. And until next time, hope you found this interesting.